lovely, welcome back to a new video. So today, in honour of February, in honour of Love Month, I thought that I would go through and show you some of my all-time favourite romance books. We've got some deeper romances, some light-hearted rom-coms, but I thought I would just kind of give you the rundown on my favourite romances of all time. These are the books that make my heart hurt, that make me believe in soulmates, that make me believe that true love really does exist for various different reasons. Let's just get straight on into it. Starting off strong, I feel like nobody's going to be surprised by these books. I feel like we need to get them out of the way. We're going to start with the series. So we have my holy trinity of romance books. These three are all part of different series, and I feel like they are the books, the series that you've probably heard me speak about endlessly in terms of the romance, contemporary romance, whatever you want to call it, genre. They all do have similarities, which we will get into, but basically we have the Magnolia Parks universe, the Addicted Callaway sisters series, and the Boys of Tommen. Starting off with the Boys of Tommen series, so there are currently 5 books in this series, and basically we have the first 2 books which follow Johnny and Shannon, the second 2 books which follow Joy and Aoife. Joy is Shannon from the first book's brother, and then the last book up to now follows Gibbsy and Claire. Gibbsy is friends with Johnny from the first book, and Claire is friends with Shannon from the first book. All of them are interlinked, they all know each other through being friends and through going to Tommen College. This series as a whole is just so emotional, so special to me. I love them all so much. They are so emotional, so deep, and have that sort of element where it's more than just a romance, more than just a rom-com. The connection between them is insane. All of the books are set in Cork in Ireland, and they follow a group of friends, a group of teenagers as they go through Tommen College. Or sort of anyways, they are all sort of interlinked in some way. You will learn that like found family or interconnecting sort of series where it follows different members of a friendship group are one of my all-time favourite type of books, type of tropes. The first 2 books follow Johnny and Shannon. So Johnny is our hotshot rugby star. He is like fast tracked to playing for Ireland, and Shannon is from the wrong side of the tracks, has quite a problematic family, a very sort of traumatic home life, and they could not be more different. They could not come from like more different families. They meet by chance, and you sort of go through their friendship, their blossoming relationship and romance as Johnny sort of tries to protect her and figure out what the hell is going on at home, while Shannon is like doing her hardest to keep him away from all of that. But they are just so emotional, so deep, and so like heart-wrenching. I sobbed at these, but like the connection between them and the man that Johnny Kavanagh is incredible. Then in the next 2 books, Saving 6 and Redeeming 6, we follow Joy and Aoife. Joy is Shannon's brother, and honestly guys, I feel like I say this all the time, but I knew in Johnny and Shannon's books that I love Joy, and the little snippets that we got of him absolutely broke my heart. He is somehow even more troubled, even more traumatized, honestly, than Shannon, and sort of getting his point of view from little bits that we see in Shannon's book or things that are almost hidden from us from Shannon's POV, getting them firsthand from Joy, and oh my god, just like understanding what he's going through and everything like that broke my heart. I've honestly sobbed throughout the whole duration of these 2 books. They are my favourite books literally of all time. I love them so much, and I love Joy so much, and seeing him and Aoife, who truly for me, like there is no other person that he could have ever been with other than Aoife, and she is just perfect for him and exactly what like he needed after going through everything that he's gone through. That it was a roller coaster and it was rocky, but it was worth it in the end. Then we have Tommen 7, And although this one wasn't my favourite of the series and it was a little bit disappointing for me personally, unfortunately it pains me to say, I still absolutely love this couple. I love them together. I just wish that this book had done them a little bit well, like served them a little bit better. But this one follows Claire and Gibbsy. We see them all throughout the rest of the series. They have this very unique dynamic where they are bestest friends, but literally everybody knows that they're in love with each other. But it's almost like this game that they play. I don't even know how to explain it, but they, again, for me, are just perfect for each other. Gibbsy is like the class clown, but he's doing that to sort of hide his true feelings, his true sort of history and things that he's going through. And Claire is just like the ultimate sunshine girly. I love them so much. I just wish that this book was like a little bit better. But overall, they're just one of my favourite couples and I loved reading about them in literally any capacity. My favourite series of all time, and I will think about them endlessly. Next up in my holy trinity of romance reads, we have the Magnolia Parks universe. So this series basically follows, again, a group of friends. It is set in London. The easiest way that I always explain this is like Gossip Girl, but set in London. They are like rich socialites, and it kind of follows the trials and tribulations of their relationship. Very much character focused books. Like obviously there are plot points, but honestly these are just like character studies, which again is one of my favourite tropes ever. But in the Magnolia Parks books, so we have Magnolia and BJ, and they have the rockiest, most like tumultuous sort of toxic relationship ever that we see in the first book. They are on again, off again, sort of like she gets different boyfriends to make him jealous, he sleeps with everybody, but they are so in love with each other and quite literally like just soulmates, like they need to be together. But there is something that is stopping them from getting together, something that Magnolia can't quite get past. And just reading about them and their story and all of the different things that goes into that, the history that they have, the connection that they have, like, oh my god, my heart just hurts even thinking about them. Jessa Hastings' writing style is one of my favourites ever. It is so beautiful and so lyrical and so poetic that every single thing that she writes just makes my heart hurt. Like the way that she describes them in particular and their sort of relationship, oh my god, incredible. And I could not be happier with how this sort of like trilogy, their story ended. I feel like they truly got the ending that they deserved and it just makes me so happy to think about. Then we have the Daisy Hates books. So these are not complete. We still do have 2 Daisy Hates books, I believe. These follow Daisy and Christian, but also we get little bits of Daisy's brother Julian. Guys, you already know how I feel about Julian Hates. Honestly, he is my favourite character from these books and probably from the series as a whole. Like, I just love him so much. But we follow Daisy and Christian. So Daisy, she is sister to Julian, who is like a gang lord. He is involved in a life of crime. And we have Christian, who is connected to Magnolia. He is in their little friendship group, but also knows Julian through the sort of life of crime vibe. I feel like it's so hard to explain how everybody connects in these books, but this follows them, and you also get snippets of Julian and snippets of his romance, which killed me so much. Like this book in particular and the romance that we see in this, I will never recover from it, literally ever. I will say that I think I'm more of a Daisy girl, but I prefer Magnolia and BJ as a couple. But still, like the way that Daisy and Christian are with each other, the way that he is so thoughtful, and truly just the way that they interact with each other, like I need them to be endgame so bad, and I need more of them ASAP. Special mention does go out to Julian and Magnolia, of course, because reading the way that Julian speaks about her and reading everything that we know about Julian and Magnolia, the great undoing of my heart, in another lifetime, the fact he had to be sedated, yeah, I'm never recovering. Then the final one I have in my little holy trinity is the Addicted Callaway Sisters series. I quite possibly could not pick up every single book in this series, so I'm just going with the big three. So the Addicted Callaway Sisters series, again, is sort of like an interlinking series. We follow three sisters, Lily, Rose and Daisy, and their sort of love interests whilst we are navigating their lives and sort of issues that they're facing in their relationships, in their personal life. This just honestly feels like a big reality TV show and like a huge character study, and I was obsessed with it. I truly wish I could go back to reading these for the first time because it was like nothing I've ever experienced before. Incredible. So in the Addicted books, we follow Lily and Lo. They are like childhood best friends, but they are both struggling with addiction issues. Lo is an alcoholic and Lily is a sex addict, and they very much enable each other, are very much not good for each other and very toxic to begin with. It's sort of like this thing of they are together to sort of throw people off their addictions and to enable each other. But as we go throughout the Addicted series, we sort of get them dealing with their addictions, facing their addictions and helping each other to cope. And just honestly guys, they weren't my favourite when I first started reading their books. It took me probably until I got to this book that I actually started really truly rooting for them and loving them as a couple after I'd kind of seen them in the other sisters' books. Like I loved seeing little snippets of them more than I did from their own POV. They are truly meant for each other in every capacity. Then in Kiss the Sky, we follow Lily's sister Rose and her love interest Connor. So they are academic rivals. It's very much like she is the queen bee and he sort of tries to go toe to toe with her. Rose Callaway is literally everything that I aspired to be when I grew up. Like I love her so much. They're my favourite couple of the series. I just love them, and we sort of follow the beginning of their relationship, them sort of going toe to toe with each other, her seeing if she can keep up with him proving that he doesn't want to be anything other than like her equal. And obviously you get the sort of drama throughout the whole series, like learning about them, their backstories and what sort of things they are facing. Then finally we have Daisy and Reich. I love Daisy and Reich and I feel like they are just perfect for each other and meant to be together. Daisy is the youngest of the Callaway sisters. This book is an age gap, which I was not a huge fan of to begin with, but like I kind of just put that out of my brain and I love them as a couple together if I forget about the age gap. Daisy is like this carefree, reckless sort of free spirit and Reich is this brooding sort of bad boy. Very much closed off, very much like stony exterior, and them two together, I just loved them. I think they are perfect for each other. But just reading this series as a whole and seeing the way all of the characters interact with each other, that found family trope, how they all navigate their own issues and how they are all there for each other, I just loved it so much, and honestly nothing will compare to the experience of reading these books for the first time. The book that lives in my head rent free, I absolutely had to mention A Court of Mist and Fury. So this is the second book in the ACOTAR series, and genuinely I must think about this book and this couple literally every day. Nothing will ever compare to reading chapters 54 and 55 of this book in my whole entire life. Like I will never ever experience what I did reading those chapters, and I would kill to relive it. I don't want to say too much in case you have not read the series or in case you don't know who exactly the couple in this book is, but the tension, fated mates, I am so there for it. Just like the connection that they have and sort of navigating, watching them figure it out, and when you finally like realise, nothing will ever compare. I love them so much. This series, like as a whole, obviously I love them and seeing them throughout the series, but this book, incredible. I will also say, I didn't want to put this in here because it's very much not a romance book and not romance focused, but some of the couples in the Throne of Glass series, the Prince and the Witchling, Aelin and Rowan, Lysandra and Adian, like I love them so much. I will ride or die for them, but I feel like I can't spin Throne of Glass as being like a romance series because it's absolutely not. But that series does have some of my all-time favourite couples and I love them so much. Okay, we're going to finally go on to some standalones. Starting off strong with Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young. This book, I went into it with such low expectations. I think I read this maybe like 2 years ago now, and a few of the tropes that were sort of like marketed around this book were like one night stand, accidental pregnancy, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like that, but oh my god, I ate this up. This is such an emotionally sort of like mature and emotionally intelligent sort of book and couple. Like, even with those tropes and tropes that I don't necessarily love, or didn't think I loved at least anyways, I feel like they were done so well in this book. Like the communication, the respect and the friendship that they sort of like built upon that is incredible and unmatched for me. Like, they are honestly just one of the most perfect couples ever, because their communication, everything is top tier. This follows Win and Bo, and they sleep together at a Halloween party and then obviously find themselves in a unplanned pregnancy sort of situation. But the way that they navigate that and the way that they sort of push any sort of like romantic inklings, or that is not even like a focus, they just focus on being the best parents that they can and building their friendship and their connection that way to be the best parents that they possibly can, was just everything to me, and I loved it so much. Bo is quite literally one of the greenest flags I have ever seen in my life. Then I have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. So I love Abby Jimenez books as a whole, but this one for me is truly one of my favourites. This follows Justin and Emma, so they meet on a Reddit thread. So Justin posts in this Reddit thread that he has a curse where every single person that he dates goes on after they break up to find their soulmate, and Emma replies to the thread basically saying that she has the same issue and she has a proposition that they should date and it should cancel out the curse, and then the next people that they find will be like their forever person. So it starts off like that, just as a summer fling. Obviously we all know where it's going to go, but sort of seeing the development of their relationship, the acts of service in this book, incredible. He is such like a acts of service kind of guy, and if that is your love language, you will eat this up. I feel like all of the men that Abby Jimenez writes about are just so emotionally intelligent, literally top tier, like they are unmatched. And Justin is no exception. Like the way that he sort of showed up for Emma and reassured Emma, and like I said, those acts of service, it was giving literally everything I could have ever wanted. I ate it up. As always, I love the way that she sort of puts in deeper topics and sort of personal issues without making it too depressing and too deep. I feel like she does that so well, and honestly, they are my favourite couple of hers. I love them so much. Then I actually have 2 Emily Henry books, so these are my top 2. We have Beach Read and Happy Place. So Happy Place follows Harriet and Wynne. They used to be engaged and they have not told their friends that they've broken up, and they basically have this yearly trip that they all go on as friends, their friendship group, and they have to pretend to be back together because they don't want to tell the friendship group. So we have fake dating or like fake engagement, but they literally are still so in love with each other, and like reading about the reasons why they split up and the miscommunication, which I normally hate. Like, miscommunication is not a trope that I enjoy, but I feel like in this one it was almost done the best that it possibly can be, and like I understood the reasonings of why that caused them to end their engagement and end their relationship. But like seeing how much they quite obviously still love each other and still care for each other, and reading about that and reading about just how they were so perfect for each other and like showed up for each other even when they weren't supposed to or weren't trying to. I love them so much. Just the quote, "It's you in every lifetime" for me, even if it's not for you, or whatever the quote is, I'll pop it on here. Literally makes me die. Then we have Beach Read. So this follows Gus and January. They are sort of like high school academic rivals. They haven't seen each other in a while. They have obviously like gone their separate ways. They are both aspiring writers, or they both are writers, and they sort of stumble across each other. Their paths cross again due to sort of issues going on in January's home life, in her family life. This little competition where they swap book genres and basically both write a book in the other's like preferred genre to see who gets published first. but like their dynamic and sort of seeing the tension and seeing the way that they care about each other but almost like don't want to show it or don't show it, I was just obsessed. And Gus Everett, literally the perfect man. I love him. Next up we have The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. So this follows Clementine and Ewan. So this book has magical realism qualities, as of all Ashley Poston's books do, but this one is my favourite of hers, my favourite couple. This follows Clementine, who moves into her aunt's apartment, and her aunt has always said that the apartment is magic, it is sort of like a time slip. And one day she comes home and finds this strange man just stood in the kitchen, cooking, minding his business. And she has entered a time slip from 7 years ago where he is living in the apartment. And sort of seeing them explore that and navigate that whilst also navigating their real lives and just everything that sort of came with this book, and obviously the magical realism qualities, I was obsessed with. I loved, and it felt so like wholesome and heartwarming to me. I even love the way that it sort of like touched on grief and talked about that in such a like warm way. I just love it. And Ashley Poston's books for me are always such a quick and easy read. I always do tend to really enjoy them, but this one in particular, like just the way that they interacted and the whole sort of like time slip thing, finding each other, like I was obsessed with it. Okay, last up guys, we do have another series for you, which is the Chestnut Springs series by Elsie Silver. So for me, these couples, I don't know how to explain it. They're not like my all-time favourite couples, but I love each of the couples, if that makes sense. These are cowboy-esque sort of romances, all following a family or their sort of friends, loved ones. I don't really know how to explain it. We have the 3 Eaton brothers, and then sort of like one of them is one of their friends and one of them is their like adopted brother. But we have that big sort of ranch setting, found family, and just reading about all of the couples, the way that they all interact with each other, like how they are all so different but yet all so meant for each other. I literally just loved it so much. My favourites of the series are these 3. So we have Heartless, which follows Cade and Willa. Willa essentially becomes the nanny to Cade's child, and it's like age gap, grumpy sort of cowboy, sign me up, and just sort of having that tension between them, their relationship, everything like that. I loved. Powerless, we have Sloane and Jasper. They were like childhood friends, and she is very much like the sunshine girl. He is the guy with the troubled upbringing and traumatic past, and he essentially helps her become a runaway bride. And I just absolutely loved seeing them two together. Then the last one that we have is Reckless, which follows Theo and Winter. So this is again another trope that I did not think I would like, which is the unplanned pregnancy trope. But the man that Theo is, oh my god, like seeing the way that he sort of like fought to get back to Winter and to get back to his family, oh my god, incredible. I just love this series as a whole. Elsie Silver can do no wrong in my eyes. So guys, I do hope you enjoyed that sort of quick fire little run through of my favourite romance books ever. I am such a lover girl, such a romance girly. I just love it so much. It's so cute and so heartwarming, and I hope that you have maybe found some recommendations that you want to go away and read and hopefully love. Please do let me know which couples you think I will love and which romance books you think I should add to my TBR, because I am always looking for my new favourite couples. Thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!